Welcome back. Now, there have been several drowning incidents recently involving children in the Tucson area, and we're just getting started with pool use for the spring and summer.
We asked Captain Barrett Baker of the Tucson Fire Department to join us this morning to talk about this and of course, how disturbing this all is. And actually, Barrett, you sent us some literature about this and doing some research for this segment. Some of these statistics that you sent were really quite disturbing. So I kind of want to start out by talking about that.
You know, we always come on here and usually have a pretty fun time and jovial, but This is that one topic that really just punches you in the stomach. Very difficult. It's not necessarily about the paramedics and the firefighters that go to this type of call, but I can tell you that anytime we see that dispatch and we have to go to a drowning or a near drowning, it's a tough call. It's the toughest call that you go on, and I can tell you very quickly exactly where I was when I pull up on a scene and there is a family that is holding a child that looks lifeless and they expect you to perform a miracle at that point. So It's very, very challenging from an emotional standpoint. The family that will never be a normal day for them after something like that happens. And we don't want any other families to ever have to go through that. It's a nightmare that sometimes you don't wake up from. And so that's the important part about talking about how do we prevent that from happening. And we talk about, and we'll talk about it until we're blue in the face, but it's the ABCs of drowning prevention. And you know, the ABCs go together. They don't work apart from each other. So the A is active adult supervision. It used to be adult supervision, supervision, but active adult supervision. What does that mean? That if we're talking like this and the swimming pool is to my right, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Not at all.
No. So eyes have to be on the pool, right? Eyes are always constantly on the pool. Another thing about that, bathtubs though. The swimming pool is obviously, especially during the summertime, one of those things that is just a huge danger zone. But swimming pools, coolers, bathtubs, anything that has water in it can obviously be deadly.
Mm-hmm. Right, and we're watching some scenes now, and I mean, something that looks just fun and innocent can quickly turn dark. And you say that you can also have certain people, say you're having a party, you can designate one person or you can take shifts, right?
And that's so important as part of the active adult supervision, because we've seen that. We see it every summer, unfortunately, that there is a party, everyone is distracted, and drowning is called the silent killer. So it's not going to be like the movies. You will not hear cries for help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There will be a child that goes underneath the water, and that's how they end up passing away, and it's a sick thing to think about. But by having that designated child watcher, that means that if it's you, that I am not going to speak to you, and you're not going to speak to me, and you're not going to talk to her, and that is your sole focus, is looking at the pool and making sure that any accidents don't happen.
Well, you're a lifeguard.
You are a lifeguard, and you're
Literally.
a VIP. That's the only job that's the most important thing. The B is the barriers, and so often, again, if the adult supervision, it's difficult to watch your kids 24 hours a day. No one can say otherwise. If you are a parent, then you know that your kids are going to be active, and it's difficult to watch them all the time.
Right.
But the barriers. Make sure that obviously your doors are locked. Have the alarm on your door. That way, if the sliding glass door gets opened up, you know. Mm-hmm. If you have that pool fence, the gate must be closed.
Right.
It's just not something that you can really, there's no gray area to that. It's black and white. The gate has to be closed, because when you're 2 years old and you see a toy in the water and you can get to it, you don't understand what's going to happen if you fall in.
Right. And really quick before we go, the C.
Classes. So you can be a first responder as a parent. It takes us 5 minutes to get to your house. No CPR, because that can be the difference between life and death. And then for the kids themselves, the earlier they get to swim or learn how to swim, the better.
There you
so
go.
ABCs put together. If we do that, then we'll never have to talk about this horrible type of tragedy.
Captain, you guys are always great about giving us the best information. I want to thank you for being on with us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. And again, for more safety tips from Barrett and his team, you can go to fire.tucsonaz.gov.